G'day mate, welcome to MindToon. This is Chloe. We are together, falling in love with our true selves. Love, an internal thing for humanity, has lasted from ancient myths to modern stories. More than 10% of Oscar-winning movies are about love, and the top 10 classic books in the world feature masterpieces like Pride and Prejudice and Anna Karenina. Interestingly, many of these famous and lasting love stories end sadly. The end of a love story often inspires art, with Taylor Swift reportedly writing 12 songs about her ex-boyfriends. It seems that finding the right person is indeed not easy. Why are there so many jerks and bad girls? How do they become this way? If we meet them, can we help them change and create our own love story? Let's find the answers to these questions together. According to attachment theory, people with avoidant attachment are most likely to become jerk lovers because loving someone is not only difficult for them, but also annoying. The three don'ts is common rule they follow in relationships. Don't initiate, don't refuse, and don't commit. There might be misconception that those who follow the three don'ts are mostly men, but this is not necessarily true. Women with avoidant attachment also exhibit these traits. In the mainstream value system, women are often seen as a weaker party in relationships and are expected to suffer a bit. However, although there are no exact figures, it appears that there are indeed more men than women with avoidant attachment. This is likely related to early childhood experiences, as parents generally tend to be more indifferent and stricter with their sons than daughters. In our previous discussion on falling in love with wrong person, we mentioned that for adults, attachment styles are all related to early childhood experiences. Not all people with avoidant attachment had childhood as unfortunate as well from goodwill hunting, but their parents or caregivers largely failed to recognize their true needs, let alone accept and fulfill them. Imagine them as infants, left alone in their cribs, crying out of fear, only to find that no matter how loudly they cried, no one came to help. They would cry themselves to sleep from exhaustion. Over time, they would learn that crying didn't help and that sucking on their fingers or kicking their feet was better at calming their fears. Parents or caregivers might think, look, my baby is easy to manage. There's no need to respond to his crying. After several such interactions, they might believe that nobody cares about what I want. Gradually, these babies learn to handle things on their own. They no longer accept security from their parents or caregivers, whether mom comes to play with them or ignores them and leaves. They become indifferent. This is how avoidant infants develop. As children with avoidant attachment grow up, if they are frequently praised for being easy to manage, they may come to believe that causing no worries is the way to get attention, rewards, and love. Over time, they might deliberately become well-behaved and independent to avoid causing trouble. As adults, they often believe that no one supports them without a reason. They tend to think that relying on others emotionally causes problems. Therefore, they ignore their own needs and may even say to themselves and others, "It's okay, I can handle it. You decide what you want." In an intimate relationship, avoidant attachment can come across as particularly uncaring. "It's okay, I can live without you. I can handle it, so don't bother. You decide what you want. I won't make things difficult for you." As mentioned earlier, People with avoidant attachment are not naturally aloof or strong. They don't avoid forming emotional connections but struggle to build deep emotional bonds. When a relationship becomes stressful and they face emotional conflicts, they quickly retreat, shut themselves off, and become defensive. They view others' attempts to enter their inner world as troublemaking. These wrong coping mechanisms are learned over many years with their parents, teachers, or the influential people acting as coaches. Therefore, it's not their fault. In the climax of Good Will Hunting, Shine approaches Will step by step, telling him over and over about his troubled childhood, breakup, and trouble he caused, striving that none of it was his fault. Will first pretends to be calm, saying, "I know," then tries to avoid Shine. Eventually, he breaks down, hugging Shine and crying uncontrollably, as Will repeatedly says, "It's not your fault." He finally connects with his own inner child, who had been lonely and self-blaming. He forgives, accepts, and embraces this part of himself, finding inner peace. Anyone with avoidant attachment who struggles with emotional or interpersonal issues can begin with exploring their inner child. This process helps them learn to accept themselves and others, communicate more clearly and healthily, and build stronger relationships. Exercise 1. Exploring your inner child and accepting yourself. Tell the child within you that when mom left you alone in your crib, it wasn't intentional neglect or sign that she didn't care. Mom simply thought that after you had eaten, drunk, and played enough, it was time for you to sleep. She believed that this was the best for you. Exercise 2. Take full use of avoidant list. Face up to your true needs. If you have avoidant attachment, create several lists that outline situations where you want to withdraw from others. For example, list 1. When these emotions or situations arise, I feel overwhelmed. List 2. I really need these things, but asking for them make me feel uneasy. List 3. I worry about the following situation happening. List 4. When I feel pressured, I want to escape in these ways. By identifying and addressing each item or on your list that significantly impacts your life, you can better understand and manage your avoidance. For someone with avoidant attachment, stresses in a close relationship can trigger their avoidant tendencies. So, if you notice your partner suddenly acting cold, ignoring important information, or showing jerk behaviors, it might not mean they are tired of you or love you less. It's likely just their avoidant attachment style acting up. Therefore, when dealing with someone with avoidant attachment, remember not to be fooled by their seemingly cold behavior. Their stress comes from their own fear of intimacy, not from you. Keep this understanding firmly in mind, like a lighthouse, to avoid losing yourself and getting hurt. If you don't want to easily give up on a partner with avoidant attachment, you can practice this following exercise together to help heal each other after their avoidant tendencies are triggered. Exercise 3. Create a safe environment. Focus on meeting their needs for security and comfort, and avoid casually discussing emotional issues. Even if you think their emotions are easy to manage, they might find them very challenging. By providing a sense of peace and comfort, you can help make your relationship more harmonious. Exercise 4. Find the I'm okay window. Everyone has an okay window for social and emotional interactions, setting an ideal range for the amount of external stimuli they can handle. Through this window, you can see their inner world, including discussable topics and past experiences. We also have our own okay window, and as long as their coldness and avoidance don't break the window, we can manage. Start by standing at each other's windows to discuss its avoidant behaviors. Keeping within each other's okay window increases the chances of successful conversation. Now, you might think, gosh, what a hassle. Maybe I should just forget about this relationship with an avoidant partner. You might not be wrong, but sometimes we need to put in more effort to make difficult things easier and reach the meaningful destination we desire. Individuals with avoidant attachment generally aren't good at or willing to communicate because they see it as ineffective and illogical, like talking to a brick wall. Especially with their partners, conversations often start with something small like, "You didn't help with the chores this weekend," and escalate into arguments like, "You don't care about me," and "Your family doesn't care about mine." Whether you or your partner has avoidant attachment, practicing these principles can help maintain healthy communication. Principle 1. Stay on topic. Identify the most pressing issue and focus the conversation on it. Principle 2. Respect others' communications. Discuss the matter at hand. Respect each other's thoughts and needs, and express your willingness to accept them. Principle 3. Know when to conclude. Reaching a basic agreement is enough. It's unrealistic to resolve everything in 1 or 2 conversations. This episode helps us face our true inner expectations more calmly and take better actions to accept ourselves and others. It provides valuable insights. We avoid things because we fear the pain of getting hurt, but eventually we will realize that feeling pain helps us protect ourselves. After enduring setbacks, we can eventually embrace hope. Please subscribe the channel and click the bell icon to get the latest updates and learn more about psychology. In the future episodes, we will explore more psychology manipulation in intimate relationships, discusses why those closest to us can hurt us the most, and examine the intriguing behaviors of different MBTI types in these relationships. Thank you for your watching and stay tuned. See ya.